Now then, you beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. We've got some radiators to fit today, so stay tuned. Make sure you smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, because we are on the road to 12k, and if we get there before Christmas, I'll be one happy guy, so smash that subscribe button. So a few weeks ago we fit, well, I'd say a few weeks ago, probably about a month ago now, we fit this heating system, converted from a gravity fed system to an unvented system. So we've got a cylinder there, got an ideal system boiler there. And to be fair, it looks pretty neat. We've separated downstairs and upstairs. So basically what I'm doing at the moment is I'm drilling downstairs, but I've left upstairs fully pressurised. So we've got our gate valves here. So it's a pretty good system to be fair. We're down on the Halo. I really enjoyed this one. I would have liked to have filmed it, but I didn't get a chance to do it. I was in a bit of a rush to get it done. So yeah, a bit of a shame about that one, but it is what it is. But we're coming back now to swap the radiators in the house. We've swapped all the ones upstairs. We've just got the downstairs ones to do now. So I'll show you exactly what we've got to do. So first up, we've got this downstairs toilet to swap. Radiator coming out, towel rail going in. We swapped that one a few weeks, last time I was here, took a little radiator out, put that one in there. And then we've got this radiator in here, which sits past the washing machine when it's usually in place. So got this cut up. We might end up having to cut the floor, the liner, to be fair, because it's all getting replaced eventually, but take everything out to get it up. So we've got that radiator going there. The radiators in the kitchen are staying for now, so I might possibly put an underfloor heating in. The ones in the living room staying now, so underfloor heating going through there. The hallway, so radiator come off there. We've got this designer radiator going on there. I think we're going to end up maybe centering it with a mirror or budget it down a little bit. I need to speak to a customer, see exactly what they want to do. And then we've got this little playroom here, which we've got a big radiator coming out, and then a bigger one going back in. So it should be a nice, straightforward job. I'm not going to show you me fitting every single radiator, but I'll show you exactly how I fit the designer radiators, what I believe is the easiest way to fit designer radiators. So stay tuned, let's crack on. Right, for some reason on these next few clips the audio was corrupted them, so you're gonna have to listen to my voice over it instead. So the playroom radiator all got done, pretty simple, socketed through in a couple of bends. Moving on to the hallway radiator, customer decided to go centre of the wall. So we're going to cut them pipes out, put our radiator into place and mark up exactly where we need it. With the radiator in place, I mark, depending on the size of the radiator, either the second or the third in. With horizontal radiators, it tends to be the third one in. The customer has asked for these to be, the bottom brackets to be 20 centimetres off the floor. So then marked up, vertical lines up. And then what I do is mount your bottom brackets first of all. This radiator had two different types of brackets. This one that I'm holding here is the bottom bracket, the other one is the top bracket. Get that in place, get that drilled, attached on, just the bottom ones, and then we hook the radiator on and mark up our top ones and get our top brackets drilled. You can see here when I drill in these, especially for these type of radiators, I do my top hole horizontal, and then my bottom hole I've got a bit of an angle. I just like to think that it's going to hold it better, especially with the weight of these radiators. I might be wrong in that, let me know in the comments if I am wrong, but it's just something I've always done and it seems to work for me. So with the radiator on now, level, we can move on to piping it up. When I put the tail on here, the pipe's going to land directly on the joist, so I have to drill through at an angle, couple of bends, and then we can socket on to that 15mm pipe there. And then on the right hand side, the pipe's going to end up on the right hand side of the joist. So what I end up doing is pulling a 90 with an offset and then just sweating the socket straight onto that 15mm pipe. The tails I've made up with Loctite 55. I've moved away from the gel and the liquid. I've had a few problems with it recently, so I've gone back to the good old stuff. So what I've had to do here is put a bend down with a 90-degree elbow, and then another bend to get through the joist at angle. I could have cut it out and sweated an elbow into it, but it's just a lot easier doing it this way. So what I'll do is I will get this left hand side all sweated up in position, and then we can move on to piping up the right hand side. So that all piped up now, it's all looking pretty smart. What we'll do is get all this tidied up, and then we can move on to fitting the radiator in the utility room, which is this one here, and putting a anthracite tall radiator into a bit of adjustment there, but I'm not going to film doing that one. We will show you how I fit this towel rail though. So just like that, that radiator's all done. Luckily that side were matched perfect, bit of alteration but nothing major, and then the pipe run vertically underneath, so we just put an elbow up, all done and dusted. So moving on to the towel rail now, get this one whipped off and get this made up. I believe I have got the best way of fitting a towel rail. I've watched other people do how they do theirs, and it seems a lot harder. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how. In my opinion, is the easiest way to hang a towel rail. Get your words out. Hang a towel rail. Whoever created slotted screws, he's shooting. They're just awkward. I just do that all the time. With the radiator off. Now, what we'll do, once I get them brackets off, obviously we're going to have some holes in the wall where the tiles are, but it's not to worry, because the customer is renovating the house over a period of time, so it's not all getting done at once, but they wanted all the central heating system all done and dusted. So this is the last radiator to do before, obviously, we fill back up. There is some more radiators that have not been changed yet. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 radiators. It's quite a big house. But they're all in the area which are going to be underfloor heating. Eventually, when they do the kitchen and dining room, they're going to put underfloor heating and then right through into the living room as well. So they don't have to worry about them for now, thank God. So yeah, we're getting there. Which I forgot to tell you here, and I'll show you upstairs. Well, I won't show you because carpet's back down now actually. When the last time I was here, when I was doing the radiator on the landing at the top of the stairs, taking the floor up, and this is why it's important to make sure when you're using a circular saw, you're not cutting too deep. I was just maybe 3 mil, maybe 2 mil past the skirting board, and I nipped the live balance cold and the mains hot off the unvented cylinder. So I had 3 bar of pressure, because it's really good pressure here. 3 bar of pressure, spraying out, hit the ceiling, and yeah, what should have been at minimum 5 radiators fit that day, end up getting 2 upstairs and then 1 easy one downstairs to fit. So yeah, it was a big setback, especially because they were tight to the boards and there were just no play in there, so I had to get some slip sockets. I would have loved to have got that on camera, but I didn't. But I will admit to my mistakes. I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm not perfect, and we all make mistakes. So get these brackets off, get that all unpackaged and get it made up and get it home. Right, so with that made up now and our brackets are in place, what I'd like to do is, only one, you have to put both on. Just put one of your valves on there, and then we're going to lay our rad on the floor, like so. So with that laid on the floor like that, what I need to do now is determine how high I want my valve. So my valve probably going to be about the same height as this one, which once I've got the tape measure, let's call it 6 inches. Yeah, 6 inches off the floor. So that's to the centre of my valve. Then what I want to do is measure from the centre of my valve to the centre of my first bracket, which is 8 inches. So 6 plus 8 is quick maths 14. So from the floor up to my first bracket, centre of my first bracket is 14. So we'll put a mark in there, and then what I want to do is measure from bracket to bracket, which is, I'll need to measure that properly, but roughly, let's call it 95. Measure from our mark upwards 95, and that gives us a height of both sets of brackets. So we'll do that first. I'll get them marked out, and then I'll show you exactly how I mark out my width as well. So once you've marked your heights, what we need to do is then mark our verticals, which I've already done. I'll show you how to do it. You want to determine how wide you want your brackets to be. So on this one, it is, we're going to call it 18 inches, or 45 and a half centimetres, whatever you want to call it, however you work. But this one, 18 inches. Get your centre mark on your wall, 9 inches either side, gives you 18 inches apart. And then all you got to do, get your level, vertical lines up, and then level a line across horizontally, same there, and you'll have your 4 marks for your brackets. So we'll get them drilled, get plugs screwed, get them mounted on the wall, and then we can get the brackets mounted on the wall, then we can lift that into place. What I always do as well, tip for you, is, I've not done it myself, leave these slightly loose. So when you put it on the wall, you've got a bit of adjustment, and then you can level it out. It makes it a lot easier. If you have them tight, it can be a bit awkward once you're trying to get onto the wall. If something's not quite square or quite in line, it's a lot harder. So just a little bit of a tip for you. That, my friend, is a lot easier than having to try and hold it in place while trying to mark your brackets. It's not worth it, especially if it's fresh tiles, which I'm not getting replaced. This one's getting replaced, so it's not the end of the world. But if it's fresh tiles and you drill that wrong, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So I highly recommend giving this go of hanging a towel rail a try, see what you think, let us know. Is it a lot easier? Do you have a way you think is better? I get you. What you can do is some people put the valves on, they put it onto the pipework, and then put it into place and mark it up, but try at the same time trying to hold a level. It's just, you need like 8 arms, or at least 2 people to do it, where me on my own here, where I'd have struggled doing it that way, where this way is a lot better. So give it a try, let me know what you think. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm right? Let me know. So what we're going to do now, get this piped up. I'm going to cut a hole in the floor. Hopefully I don't hit a joist, because every single one has hit a joist so far. But it is what it is. We're getting there, and then we'll get the system filled back up. Also need to put some inhibitor in. We'll have to put a couple of tubs of inhibitor in. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 radiators. So I will need at least 2 tubs of inhibitor. So they can go in the towel rail. But the question is, do I put it in the towel rail before filling up? Or do I fill up, make sure there's no leaks, and then put it in? Decisions. Do I risk it for a chocolate biscuit? I kind of expected under here to be a bit of a spaghetti junction, so I wasn't going into the unknown, but I think I might have fallen quite lucky with this one. That pipe there, is practically vertical with that pipe, where my valve needs to be. So I just need to cut on there, sock it up with a bit of pipe into that one, and then this one, same again, exactly where I need to be. Cut that, elbow up to my valve. Happy days. I was a bit cautious with this one. I thought I could just see it happen again. Last radiator, need to be away from here from far anyway, so I'm a bit under pressure time wise. I could just imagine them pipes being tight under the board and me going through the live main like I did last time. So yeah, thank God I didn't. So we'll get this piped up and I'll be back with you in a second once it comes around to filling up. And just like that, all piped up, ready to go. Not put the cap in yet, so we need to put the inhibitor in. I've turned the 2 valves off there, so that's isolated. All the valves around the house and radiators, bleed vents, are all turned off now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to isolate upstairs first, because what I don't want to do is open the ground floor and then it drain the upstairs basically. So we'll isolate the first floor like so. And yeah, people are going to say, why don't you put lever valves in instead of gate valves? That's because the customer, get your words out, Macaulay. The customer supplied all the fittings. So, with that open all the way, and one turn back on that one. So open this up and see what's going on. So look at it, it's got its own pressure gauges, so you can see there that stayed at 1.5. This has slowly start rising up. Also I've turned the drain off there. So we'll get this filled up, pressurise the system, and then we'll put the inhibitor in. So pressurised up now. Just run round and check all the fittings, making sure we've got no leaks. So all seems good in the hood. So far so good. Down here. Yeah, seems okay. Oh. And then through here. These ones okay. All okay. I'll check where that door opens. That's miles away. Miles away. All good in the hood there. It doesn't seem like it's on very far, but it is. It's not leaking. And then playroom. Oh, good. Perfect. Right. Head back into the garage and put this inhibitor in. Open them valves up. And buzz your uncle, get it filled up, get it tested out, and I'll be on my way. I've got a kids' party to do tonight. Kids' party, then a Christmas fair, and then another Christmas fair tomorrow. So a busy weekend. Got a tub of Salus and a tub of Fernox to go in. So I think it's them we'll put in. Yeah. We'll bang them in. Right. I'm gonna put you down, get them in. Get our plug in, open the valves, and vent the system. And I'll catch up with you in a minute once it's all nice and warm. Right, so the halos are on now. It's heating up nicely. You can see on this HIT Micro Eco DO1, our flow returns are going through now. We're starting to get a bit back on our returns. So yeah, I've been around and checked everywhere. Everywhere's starting to heat up. These are really good, especially when commissioning. I even tried to troubleshoot on heating systems. Highly recommend it. I will put a link in the description for one of these. It is a DO1 Eco from HIT Micro, really budget friendly. Perfect Christmas present. So that's a wrap, all done. Customers happy, everywhere's getting nice and warm. It's been a job that I've been dreading a little bit, but it went nice and smoothly for a change, so happy days. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you picked some tips and tricks up and new ways of doing things. If you did, let us know in the comments below. Let us know as well if you would have done anything different. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash that like button and make sure you subscribe. We're on the road to 12k. It would be nice to hit that before Christmas.